Yet more pressures being applied to embattled Labor MP Craig Thomson with the union he used to lead, saying they'll cooperate with a potential police investigation into his affairs. The Health Services Union says its first duty is to its members, even if the investigation into Mr Thomson brings about the downfall of the Gillard Government. Political correspondent Tom Eagleton reports from Canberra.
The opposition still finding new angles to embarrass the government about Craig Thomson.
There are 70,000 members of the Health Services Union, 70,000 low-paid workers whose fees, it seems, may well have been misused, and the Prime Minister owes them an explanation.
That came after Tony Abbott moved a motion just a minute into question time to force the Prime Minister to make a statement about Mr Thomson.
And I say to the Prime Minister, people with a reasonable explanation have nothing to fear from the facts.
The motion failed.
I've made many statements about that in this House, and I stand by every one of them.
And the Prime Minister was in no mood to return to question time.
I ask that further questions be placed on the notice paper.
Order.
But as the Prime Minister dodged, the Health Services Union broke its silence on the latest allegations against Mr Thomson, included in a brief of evidence provided to police from the opposition.
But if the New South Wales Police are investigating this matter, then we're not going to cause any impediment to them, and we provide every records that we have available to us.
Do you think Mr Thomson's been lying? When is it likely the meeting will finish?
The union uncovered evidence 3 years ago of possible financial irregularities from Mr Thomson's 5-year spell as its secretary. Until now, that evidence hasn't been referred to police.
The police, as far as we're concerned, were not the relevant authority with the facts that we had in front of us at that time. The relevant authority, we continue to believe, is Fair Work Australia. Under the Act, they have certain powers that the police don't have.
The Fair Work investigation's now 2 years old and has still not reported. The union's denying the Labor Party contacted it regarding its cooperation with the potential police investigation.
Any allegations against, be it a union official or any member of the Labor Party, is damaging to a Labor government. We understand that. But our first priority is to the members of the Health Services Union, not to members of the Australian Labor Party.
These moves increase the chance of a full-blown police investigation into Mr Thomson, but they do little to undermine the government's position to Mr Thomson be presumed innocent until a court finds otherwise. And the opposition's already looking for new ways to land punches on the government, even at the expense of its own members. Malcolm Turnbull was due at the funeral of his friend, the esteemed painter Margaret Olley, today. That would have also allowed the Arts Minister to go with him as a pair, keeping numbers even for parliamentary votes. But Tony Abbott scrapped the deal.
Despite it being agreed to in writing,
some things are above politics, and memorial services are above politics. We should have been at that service today.
It is not appropriate for a funeral to take precedence over votes in the Parliament about the integrity of the government.
The opposition did get an extra vote, though, by denying a pair to the Prime Minister while she hosted the President of the Seychelles in her office. But the extra vote wasn't enough to pass a motion the opposition moved against Mr Thomson. Meanwhile, the government has passed its legislation for plain packaging on cigarettes. Tom Eagleton, Lateline.